Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So on day 19 we are going to discuss of S3 storage classes because we have a many storage classes options are available as part of AWS S3 service. Then we will also see a quick comparison between all the services where we will see a cost and performance between all the storage class options which we have, and same time we will also see a use cases when we should use which storage classes, because in AWS S3 storage classes basically optimize your cost. So you have to keep in mind while using the S3 storage service, you have to choose a right selection of your storage classes so you can reduce the cost. So let's understand in more detail. What is an S3 storage classes? So basically an S3 storage classes define the cost, availability and retrieval speed of your data stored in Amazon S3. So it is clear based on the storage classes option you are going to charge on AWS S3. So the right selection of storage classes can reduce the cost for your AWS S3 service. Why does it matter? You don't always need a fast or frequent access to every files. AWS gives you option to optimize cost based on your access needs. So in most cases, suppose we are using S3 service for our DB backup purpose, and we know okay at least 6 months or 1 year we don't need access on this particular DB backup file. So in that case it is not recommended you should use store that DB backup as part of standard tier because their charges will be high. So for that you have to choose a right selection of storage classes so you can reduce the cost. So based on the objects of file which you are going to store on storage classes, you have to keep in mind okay this particular file I need a more frequent access, and on this particular file we don't need a frequent access. So accordingly you have to choose a right selection of storage classes. In that way you can save a cost. So here we have a quick overview of all S3 storage classes which we have as part of AWS S3. So here we will see use cases and key features as well. So the very first and most common is S3 standard. So this particular storage classes we use when we have a frequent access on our data. For example, I'm taking example of Netflix. So there are a lot of traffic coming because people are seeing videos, movies and all. So they need a like frequent access on that particular files. So in that case we should use S3 standard storage classes. Now if we talk about a key feature of this, high durability and availability. So you don't need to think about okay I can lose my files because it is highly durable. There is a 0.001% chance you can miss your files, but that is also like negligible. Another we have S3 intelligent tiering. So this particular storage class we have to choose when we are not sure about the workload or we are not sure about the access pattern, like we are not sure okay when we need which object or which file we need access or which file or which object we don't need access more frequently. So like you are not pretty sure about the access pattern for the files. In that case you can use S3 intelligent tiering storage class options. So here basically what happened, the files basically automatically move between the tiers, data tiers. Then we have S3 standard infrequent access tiers. So this basically if you are not going to access your data more frequently, in that case you can use S3 standard infrequent access storage class. So here the cost will be low, but when you fetch the data the cost will be, there will be a cost on that, so you have to keep in mind. Then we have S3 one zone IA. So what does it mean by one zone? Basically here you will have only one availability zone. It means your files will be only on single data center. So you have to keep in mind the one zone means a single availability zone. This is again cheaper but less durable. Then we have S3 Glacier instant retrieval. So here you can archive your file and you can, if you need to access on your files, you can get a quick access as well. So here the cost is low, and the you data access, you can have access on your data in a millisecond as well. Then we have S3 Glacier flexible retrieval. So here if you are going to use a long-term backup purpose, you can use S3 Glacier flexible retrieval class. So here the data retrieval will be 1 to 5 minutes to hours. So like basically the data retrieval time will be higher. Then we have S3 Glacier deep archive storage class. So this is basically really like you are sure, okay, I'm not going to access this particular file maybe 2 years or 3 years. So you like the rarely access files you can store under this particular storage classes. So here the storage cost will be low and the data retrieval will take several hours. Then we have S3 reduce redundancy. So this which is depreciated, I just mentioned here, and it is not recommended as well. So I'm not going on that. Let me move to another slide. When to use each storage classes. So S3 is standard for your websites, mobile apps, and frequently used files. Just like I have given example of Netflix, maybe Amazon Prime. So if you have similar kind of websites, in that case you should use S3 standard tier. Then we have intelligent tiering. If you are unsure about the access frequency, then you can go with that intelligent tiering, and AWS automatically handle the data with like automatically move data between the tiers. Then we have standard infrequent access. So this is generally used for backup, disaster recovery, and old data access, like you are going to access your data in a month once or twice. Then we have one zone infrequent access. So data you can recreate and don't need high durability. So you have to keep in mind, if you are using a single availability zone, then you are not going to get high durability on that. Then we have another one, Glacier instance. So this we have to use when you are going to archive your data and maybe you need a quick access on your data as well. In that case, you can go with Glacier instant. Then we have Glacier flexible. So this is generally used for compliance records, backups, and old logs. Like you are sure you are not going to access more frequent, and whenever it's required, okay, it will take few hours, I'm fine with that. In that case, you can go with Glacier flexible. Next we have deep archive. So this is for regularity on or archival data access. Like you are sure, like, okay, I need a very rare access on my data, but I need to keep my data in a secure location. So in that case, you can use a deep archive storage class option. Okay, so this is the quick cost comparison chart between all the storage classes. So this is almost a rough estimation. It is not the accurate because the cost vary region to region, so that you have to keep in mind. So I'm not going to explain each and every storage classes here. If you want to have a look on this, you can pause the video and have a look on this particular comparison chart. So the one thing you will see a common, the durability. So in most of the storage classes you will get like good durability, which is common in across all the storage classes, and also availability. Now if you see, a retrieval time and retrieval cost will be vary based on the storage class option which you are going to use, and similarly the cost will vary according to the storage classes. So that's all for today. I just want to give a quick overview of S3 storage classes options, and just want to give like, okay, when we should use which storage classes option. So that's all for today. See you in next video. Thank you so much.